Bill Robinson, I had always known of as a performer all the way from the time I was 6. I happened to be watching the Ed Sullivan Show on TV one time, and Ed Sullivan did a special tribute to him. It happened to be, I think it was an anniversary. This was maybe 6 or 7 years after Robinson had passed away. It was the early 1950s. And Ed Sullivan did a special little tribute in which he shone a spotlight on a flight of stairs. And it was just the sound of a tap dancer, and the camera moved up and down the stairs. And I remember, as a little boy, thinking, oh, Bojangles, Bill Robinson. Somehow he was already in my consciousness. But I knew he was a major influence as far as dance was concerned. I would have had to have been at least 10, 11 years old before I actually saw him dancing in one of the movies with Shirley Temple.
I think what was interesting about him was a certain quiet dignity, and I think that he had a sense of humor. And as a result, you loved him, and he's helping this little girl find joy. And so there's a beauty in that. There's a beauty in the scene, and there's a beauty in his work and an artistry that is very special. And I think that it's the kind of scene, because there was such a deep connection between Bill Robinson and Shirley Temple, that children today, if they were looking at it, would still find joy in, because they have a lot of joy in what they're doing together, and there's a magic. I think their connection comes across. I think the beauty of dance comes across. I think more importantly, it just feels fun.
I knew he was a great dancer. I knew that a lot of the dancers like the Step Brothers and Honey Coles and Sammy Davis Jr., would talk about them on television, and they talk about Bill Robinson and his influences, and how Robinson and Fred Astaire and, danced together at parties and things like that, which was like, wow, who forgot to bring the camera to that situation, I knew when I saw Fred Astaire dancing in Swing Time, and he was dancing in blackface, that he was doing a tribute to Bill Robinson, because my understanding is that Fred Astaire did not want to do that number in blackface and was somewhat upset about having done it, and made a determination that he would never, ever again be screened doing a dance like that. But he respected Robinson and knew him and thought a great deal of him, and they were friendly. And that's interesting to me as well, because when you consider that Fred Astaire started dancing professionally around 1904, which I think when he was around 5 years old, Robinson was already a vaudeville star then, And so all the time that Fred Astaire was growing up in the early part of the 20th century, the person that he was modeling himself after was Bill Robinson. Growing up, being aware of what his reputation as a performer was. Then seeing him dance in films, comparing his dance style with some of the later tap styles and everything. As a very small person, I was going like, what's so great about him? He's kind of straight up and down, to later on realizing how many dancers took their cues from him and then developed new formats based on models that he had already set. So I came to appreciate him much more the older I got.
Bill Robinson and Shirley Temple dance in step and stay in harmony in The Littlest Rebel, Thursday at 10 p.m. Eastern, part of our May Spotlight Race and Hollywood Black Images on Film, here on Turner Classic Movies.